Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the newest version of the Vacheron Constantin Overseas. This is the Overseas Chronograph. This new collection came out in 2016. It included a new three-hand model, this new chronograph model. There was a perpetual calendar model, and then there was an ultra-thin two-hand model that all came out the same year. The chronograph one is among the most popular, and I have two versions here. This is the one with the silver dial, and then there's the one with they call this the brown dial. It's kind of a metallic brown color with a matching brown alligator strap. There's a blue dial. I'm sure there'll be more versions of the Overseas Chronograph in the future. Now, the Overseas Chronograph for 2016 came out with a new movement, and that is the caliber 5200 in-house made automatic chronograph movement. More on that in a second. The 5100 is what powers the three-hand. I believe the other models of the new Overseas contained existing movements. The watch is 42.5 millimeters wide and just under 14 millimeters thick. That's going to make it a little bit bigger than the last generation Overseas, and definitely a little bit thicker. I would say that the case thickness is probably going to be the most controversial element of this particular sports watch. Now, it's not thicker than it needs to be for a chronograph. It's just that the Overseas is what they call a formal sport watch, so it's a little bit more elegant of a sport watch, and its competitors would be things like the Royal Oak or the Nautilus that both have thinner cases. Again, the chronograph versions of those, I don't necessarily think they're that much thinner, but sort of if you want this as that elegant sports watch, I would recommend the three-hand version of the Overseas because it is definitely going to be a little bit of a thinner watch. Also, you have here the style, which is popular, where the case kind of dips down here into the bracelet design, and the haunches, so to say, are relatively large here. So this is going to be a larger fitting watch. With that said, the bracelet is very comfortable. One of the interesting things is a strap system which allows you to easily adjust the bracelet or the strap, or there's two straps that come with it. So the watches come with all three of these, and it's great because you can change them. The silver dial is nice. I actually like the silver dial more with the three-hand dial, and the chronograph I like a little bit more with the darker dial, such as the blue, but it definitely looks nice. It's a standard 12-hour chronograph with your date. The date is going to definitely be one of those more controversial elements there that some people like, some people don't, but for sales purposes, the date still continues to be a feature that people want. Legibility is good. You can see that the hour markers are applied. There's depth to the dial. The chronograph subdials are recessed. So that's all nice, and I like that the hands are black and the hour markers are outlined in black. So that sense of contrast is quite nice and high. You have this distinctive Overseas bezel that you have seen on the collection throughout the years, as well as the style of the links in the bracelet that sort of match the cross logo of the Vacheron Constantin logo there. You can see that's also applied on the dial, which is nice. As a chronograph, it doesn't do anything exceptional. It doesn't really let down in any ways. I think the case is water resistant to 150 meters. I like that the action on the screw down chronograph pushers is very short, so it's just a little turn, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. That's actually one of the nicest motions on the case, is this action of screwing down and unscrewing the chronograph pushers. I'll stop it there, reset it. So the movement, let's get to that. I'm gonna actually show you how this comes off. Look at that, just pull it right off there. That's the caliber 5200 automatic movement. It's a 4 Hertz movement with 52 hours of power reserve. Nice 22 karat gold automatic rotor. Looks pretty handsome. You can see it's a big movement, so it takes up the majority of the case there. I'm going to wipe that down. Geneva seal, so that means that it's produced within the Canton of Geneva with a whole host of aesthetic and mechanical requirements there. Column wheel chronograph. Like I said, these days there's a lot of really fancy chronographs out there. People are going to buy them just to sort of have a chronograph and make sure they pass muster. If you want an exceptionally fascinating chronograph, there's other things out there. Now, as you can see here, the lugs sort of have this smaller area right here. That's sort of by design of how this works. So I don't really know how that's going to translate over time with a relatively small connection there. It feels very secure. So when you wear it on the wrist, it doesn't feel like it wiggles. But like I said, there is a relatively small connecting point here. So I don't know how that wears over time as this small bar in the middle here wears, meaning it could loosen, it could break. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying that's something that I was thinking about while I was reviewing this. The good news is it allows you to sort of mix and match all these straps. So I haven't done this actually since 2016 when the brand showed me how to switch all this up. And the reason I'm hoping I remember is you see here the buckle. They give you one for both the leather strap and the rubber strap. And you know, at these prices, I gotta say, could they not have included two of these? This is not the most expensive part, and the fact that they make it so they want you to mix and match here. I like the fact that it's engineered so that you can mix and match them, but I don't know that I feel like they had to be, you know, just include one of these. So okay, so let's figure out how would this work here. I always like to see if I can remember how to do these things. So I guess it would go like that. Okay. I think this is how it goes here. That looks like it makes sense. All right, let's put it on the watch. I gotta say, it is very convenient how this works. It just kind of snaps in there, and it's, you know, it's pretty solid. There's really no wiggle or anything like that. It's pretty solid, so I'm hoping that means it would stay solid for a long time. Oh. Okay, let's see here. This part moves around a little bit. Not that big of a deal. I'm guessing because I have small wrists, it would be on the lowest setting. Okay, that was relatively painless. That was pretty easy. So you can see how I went from the bracelet, which you have to size, you know, initially with screws, but if you wanted to go from the bracelet to the strap, it's just that easy. And if I recall correctly, the watch comes with all three of these, so that's pretty nice. And again, you can see here that changes the look. It makes it a little bit more formal for times when you need that. Okay, let's go to the rubber strap here. I'm actually curious how that feels like. During this entire review process, I've only worn it on the bracelet. So this is the first time I'm even wearing it on these straps. I think this has a nice inner lining there. I think it's Alcantara maybe, or something like that. It says alligator down there, but it has a kind of Alcantara feel. So actually that buckle just kind of came off there, so make sure you don't lose that. You can see here how there's a, let's get that in focus, there's sort of a metal plate right here, so they've obviously reinforced it. And again, you just pull that piece in there with your finger, and it comes right off. Very simple. So let's get the rubber strap on there. I promise you I'm not going to do future videos that are just strap changing. Wouldn't that be, I don't know, maybe people would like that. All strap changing all the time. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Guess that's how it goes. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. That movement really is nice, I have to say. Strap is pliable in the sense that it's not the thickest rubber strap in the world, but I might have went too much in there. But it is comfortable on the wrist. Oh, okay. I probably could have gone one less hole there. You can see kind of the brand logo there on the rubber strap. I gotta say, it's pretty comfortable on the rubber strap. This is maybe a little bit tighter than I'd go normally, but it's thin, you know? I think that what's one of the things is when you have a rubber strap, if it's too thick, it doesn't work comfortably. This really kind of wraps around the wrist nicely. I like that. And what's actually interesting is that it actually feels like the watch itself sits on a slightly lower profile on your wrist compared to the bracelet. So if you really want the thinnest look on your wrist, you're gonna gotta go with the rubber strap. However, what you can see here is that because the metal bracelet is thicker, this part of the case where the lugs are is designed to be about, looks like there's about a millimeter of thickness. So it looks as though maybe the strap could have tapered down a little bit more. So there's a little bit of, I'll call it frontage there. Not that big of a deal, but something that you notice if you're obsessed with fine details, as you should be with a luxury timepiece. So anyways, there you have it. Those are the 3 straps that come with each version of the watch. This part right here is pretty well done, but you can see how that could just kind of come off there. Put the bracelet back on. Going through the whole process together with you. Actually, I have no idea which is the top or bottom of the bracelet. I don't know if it matters really. I guess it doesn't really matter. So there we go. We went from the bracelet to the alligator strap to the rubber strap and back to the bracelet and back on the wrist with the Vacheron Constantin Overseas. Good system there, Vacheron. I have to say, I liked that I didn't need any tools. I didn't have to, like, you know, pinch myself. That was pretty easy. So well-engineered system there. Glad to see a modern movement in the Overseas Chronograph, as well as the Overseas 3-hand for that matter. Once again, is the brown version, which doesn't work. They sent me a blocked version. That sometimes happens. They sent me a version that's basically a dummy. They don't want people to steal it or something like that. So the escapement is blocked, and then I can't wear it. I'm not going to review a watch that doesn't tell the time. I'm sorry. Price for the Vacheron Constantin Overseas is $28,900. That is a lot of money, but this is a luxury brand, and so this is a status chronograph. It's dressy, it's elegant, it's shiny. You know, I don't know if you can tell in the lights, but you wear it, it's got a little glisten to it. It's got that sort of stately, you know, old Geneva name, Vacheron Constantin. It's been around for a long time. It's a brand that makes very complicated watches, high esteem. So this is, you know, this is a lifestyle chronograph, and for that it does a good job. Could it be less money? Maybe. I really think that this is, you know, the type of watch that you are getting because you're interested in the brand, you're interested in what it says about you, but you don't necessarily want to wear a sports, a dress watch. Competition, like I said, would be things like the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Chronograph, the Nautilus Chronograph from Patek Philippe. So this is among that range, and it is priced competitively compared to those models for sure. You can see the full review of the Vacheron Constantin Overseas Chronograph on aBlogtoWatch. Thanks.